KTM 390 Duke, Crazy Iron crash cage, pro version with the double sliders. I tried to find an install video online, couldn't. Excuse the state of the rest of the bike, I'm still in building process. Couldn't find anything online, found one video which was a quick spin through, didn't show anything, and the instructions for this were appalling. I had a nightmare. This side took me about an hour, the other side took me about 4 or 5 minutes once I realised what I was doing, so I'm going to do a quick walkthrough video, hopefully help someone. The bolts I'll probably explain first. Again, apologies, I was going to take all this off and do a proper video, but it was such a nightmare, I thought, not a chance. I'm not doing it again, so I'll try and explain it as best I can. Bear with me. I'll try and be as quick as possible because I know how annoying these videos are when they droll on. Right, your bolts. You'll have 2 large bolts. One this side, one the other side. They're for your bottom mounts, and this is where it mounts. Big, little, to the left. That's where the bottom's mounting, same on the other side. So your 2 larger bolts are for these. You will then have 2 bolts that look like that. They are for your brace. One that side, one that side. So put them aside for your brace. You will then have 2 sets of 4 Allen key heads. Okay, see it there? You'll have 2 sets of 4. You'll have one set that measure about 40 and one that measure about 45, if I remember correctly. Don't panic, you don't need one set of them. I think they send spares for maybe an alternative frame or a later model, not sure why, doesn't explain, but it transpires they're not needed. So if you've got 2 sets of 4 on the 17, 18, 19 model, it's the shorter of the 2 sets. That's what you need. The longer ones are spare, which then will leave you with 2 independent ones which go in here. So you will also have spacers. 2 thin spacers are for your larger bolts. You see them there. 1 spacer there and 1 on the other side. So your 2 thinner spacers go with your 2 large bolts. Your 4 fatter spacers, you can see it there, go here. 1, 2, and again 3, 4 on the other side. So your 4 fat spacers go with your 4 shorter of the 2 sets Allen bolts. So, doing this from the start, the first thing you do is take the original bolts out of the engine mount. Now this is where I struggled because I took both of them out, tried to line this plate up, these weren't going in. The engine had dropped only a millimetre, but it caused me hell. So, unless you've got the bike up and you've got a jack under there holding the engine in place or you're mounting it properly, you're going to struggle. So what I did and what I would advise is take 1 original bolt out. Sorry about that noise, food van's just turned up. Take 1 original bolt out, line the plate up, put 1 bolt in, obviously with one of your fatter spacers and a washer, let the plate drop, then take the other bolt out, lift the plate back up and put the second one in with the spacer and the washer. That's what I did. That's what I didn't do first. I took both out and then this wasn't lining up no matter what I did, and I tiny bit cross-threaded this, which I'm really upset about, but live and learn. So 1 bolt at a time, take 1 out, line the plate up, put 1 bolt in with the spacer, lift it up, second bolt in with the spacer. Also note that the thread side of the plate needs to face on the inner side. That's another mistake I made, so I had to take them all back off. That's your first process. Don't tighten these 2 up, leave them loose because you will need to play and manipulate this in a minute. So 1 bolt in, then take the second one out, lift the plate up, put the second bolt in. Do it by hand, make sure it goes in smooth and clean, don't force it, you will cross thread it. Leave these loose so this can move, wiggle and manipulate. Then you're going to come down here, you're going to take the original bolt out of here. Now you can force the brake pedal down and just about you see where it's slightly scratched. You can just get that through there. If you want to take this off, it's going to make life a hell of a lot easier. If not, you can force that down and get it out with a bit of wiggling and patience. Take the original bolt out, hold the cage up. If you haven't got a second pair of hands, you might need to wrap a bit of string or cable tie on, just loop it to something just to hold this up in the air while you line this up. Obviously line that up. One of your thin spacers, one of the large bolts with a spacer and a clamp spacer. Get that in, again, leave that loose so that this can move. Don't tighten it all the way up. And then you're going to come here and with your 2 shorter bolts that you're left with, we're going to go in there. Again, this will have some spacers on the inside for you. So what you're going to do is hold this up with one hand, and then you're going to have to slide and wiggle and manipulate this plate slightly with the other hand. Obviously this slider off, you'll have access through. Get your ratchet and your socket head, wiggle that through, get it lined up. Do it by hand, gently, move, wiggle, manipulate this until it goes in smooth. You then tighten this one up, nice and tight, happy days. You can then come down here, tighten this one up, nice and tight, happy days. Then you can come back up to your plate, and your ratchet arm will go through there and through there to tighten them up afterwards. Remember, leave them all loose till it's all in place to make life a hell of a lot easier. So, and repeat on the other side. Well, after that, you can then, the brace is the easy bit, line the brace up, bolt through there with some spacers on. Beautiful. So, process is, take one original engine mount bolt out, line the plate up, put one in, leave it loose. Let it dangle, take the other one out, lift the plate back up, then put the second one in. Don't forget your big fat spacers behind, and a washer on there. Leave those both loose so this moves. Take your original bolt out, put your large bolt in with some washers and your thinner spacer. Don't tighten all the way up. Line this up with your 2 shorter ones that you left. One this side, one that side. That's going to be your bolt in there. Take your time, move this, wiggle this, get it lined up. Once that goes in, tighten that one up. Come back down here, tighten that one up. Come back up here, ratchet extension arm through there and through there. Tighten them 2 up. Voila, she's on. Repeat the process on the other side, and then line your brace up and put them in. So I hope that helps in any way. If there's any questions, drop them in. I'll try my best to answer. But I just thought it'd be nice for someone to physically see it, because again, it doesn't explain what bolts are for what. So again, your 2 larger ones put aside, they're for down here with your 2 shorter spacers. You'll have 2 sets of 4. The shorter set is what I'm advising to use. The longer ones were too long. I think they're spares. So the shorter of the 2 sets of 4 are for your plates, including the 4 fatter spacers. 1, 1, 2, 2. You will be left with 2 independent ones, which are one this side, one that side, and it's the 2 that doesn't look like those because they're for the brace. All bolts have a washer and a clamp washer. Washer and a clamp washer. I forgot the clamp washers on this one and that one originally, but I'm not taking them off because, like I say, I was impatient and that one did cross thread slightly, so I'm not risking taking that back out. So yeah, hope that helps. And afterwards, obviously, pop your slider in, screw through the top. I hope that helps in some way. Again, listen to the video, replay the video, make sure you put the bolts aside and you line them up. Hopefully I've explained what bolts are for what, give you some idea when you're looking at the kit as to what bolts are what and where they go where. Hope that helps, dudes.